All right. What's going on? What's going on with the world today? Could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. I'm thankful and appreciative. We're gonna do a 5 minute start. Then I'm gonna link a call um, with one of the things that I'm into. It's called. Okay, I see you. I see you. Bam. It's called Yulu, Us Lifting Us. We're going to go into that live for maybe 15 minutes. But first comes our intro. You know how we do. I'm thankful and appreciative for all those who are here. Let's move it. Feel free to text. May you awaken with awareness.
So blessed. Yeah. Wake up, another day, thank the creator. Last night was real, today's gonna be greater. Brainstorming, pondering ways to get my cake up. It's all about the money, but don't let the money make you. Just keep scraping the plate up. Don't cater to a hater, stay out of sight. Your mind sometimes cross the equator. I'm reminiscing back to the day my mama died. Or when they took my nigga Boo to life, homicide. We done see some good times, time to laugh, time to cry. How would you wanna be remembered when it's time to die? Who do you believe in? If the book of Malachi, do some soul searching, no really, do you qualify? No man alive can cast the first stone. Try to get under my skin cause it's closet full of bones. I endure the pressure, stress, I feel prone. So now I take a diamond everywhere that I roam. I'm so blessed, yeah, I'm so blessed.
Tonight's topic.
I've been thinking a lot about Ujamaa is first a philosophy and how important that is to the building of an Ujamaa economy.
This is the revolutionary part
in order to build
of our bill.
anything, you must start with a blueprint.
As I send out
and that blueprint in terms of organizing
things to get down with
civilization is your philosophy. Once that philosophy is clearly embedded in our psyche, and we have a very vivid picture of what it is that we intend to build, then the process of manifestation unfolds. In other words, we're able to move from the idea of an Ujamaa economy to the reality of an Ujamaa economy by having a grounded understanding of the philosophical basis of what it is that we're doing. And so oftentimes, because we live in America and we live in these structures that have a philosophy already embedded in them, it presupposes or it treats as a presupposition certain philosophical principles that most of us don't think about a lot. And I think that will become clear as we go through the discussion tonight. I've been watching the news, as I'm sure many of our listeners have, and the question that sprang into my mind is, do most of the human family want a future of endless war? The escalating human carnage in Ukraine is a chilling example of the capitalist future we are all in for unless we take economic and political control of the world, or certainly that portion of the world in which we live. Now, this sounds daunting. It almost sounds like reaching for the moon. Yet it is very doable. It is certainly not as difficult nor as painful as allowing the status quo to continue. We must be crystal clear that the war raging in Eastern Europe is a struggle over which capitalist faction will exercise global hegemony. The capitalist oligarchs in Russia are in a deadly duel with the neoliberal capitalists of the NATO-aligned countries in Western Europe and the United States.
I hope you hear that.
Ultimately, they are fighting over who will control the natural resources and the wealth of the African continent. So, as I'm watching the news, and I'd love for our viewers to call in and comment, and I'm seeing 4 million people who have become refugees fleeing their native country of Ukraine into Poland and other neighboring countries to escape the bombing of their homes and their apartments. I was listening to a radio broadcast earlier today, and they were saying that 90% of those refugees are women and children. And so here there's a battle going on between a small group of billionaires fighting over who's going to control the world, and they are so callous and so uncaring that they have no problem bombing civilian centers and killing thousands and tens of thousands of people to achieve their objectives. Now, we are told that, war is just part of the human condition. Humans have been fighting wars since the beginning of time. That's not true. And certainly not on the scale that we are witnessing today, with the possibility of eventually escalating into some kind of nuclear exchange, which would spell the end of civilization for everybody. So here we are watching this fight play out in front of our eyes, but we also see at the same time that we cannot afford to be spectators on the sidelines, because the consequences eventually are going to affect larger and larger groups of people. And so it really is important to start thinking very clearly about how do we take control of our own reality, create something that offers us a different path, that offers us the possibility of peace and prosperity that's not some kind of utopian fantasy, but can actually be materialized on the sidewalks where we live and where we're trying to raise our children and grandchildren. So it's an existential threat, for sure, and it requires of us a very sober assessment of what it is that's taking place and what are the options that we have in our own hands to do something concrete about this. So if the question comes to me, so if that's the reality that we're facing, how do African people take control and construct a new reality? And as I was thinking about this, it struck me that the second step is to build an economy based on mutual respect, peace, and cooperation. And I'm very intentional about saying the second step, because the first step is to become very clear about the philosophy that must begin to guide how we think and move in the world. So let's talk for just a few minutes about the second step, and then we'll pivot and get to the crux of tonight's conversation, which is Ujamaa is first a philosophy.
Right. Ujamaa. Remember that.
So I would invite the family, fasten your seatbelts and let's get ready to take this freedom ride together.
Maybe another 15 minutes with
We
this.
in Ulu define Ujamaa as family-centered economics or familyhood that creates an economy. We are shifting the paradigm of how we look at the world and how we think about how we think the world should be organized, or at least that part of it that we live in. Our research shows that a group-owned, family-centered economy is the only viable path forward for African people here in the United States, on the African continent, and throughout the diaspora. A group-owned economy, rather than an individually owned economy, is the secret sauce in the Ulu formula. Just imagine if Kroger or your local grocery store was group owned by your community. In other words, the workers in the store, the shoppers who are shopping in the store, the residents of the community in which this store is located, all together collectively own and operate that local grocery store. What a difference that would make. But instead, this necessary and vital business is owned by the 1%, a small number of individual shareholders of the population who make life and death decisions affecting us and never even consult with us for our input. If the profit margins at that particular grocery store fall below a certain predetermined level, they will close that store, even though it is making money. In other words, the store is productive. It's not going bankrupt. It's not losing money. It's actually turning a profit every month. But because it's not turning more profit, the decision can be made to close that unit. And we know that whenever those hub businesses close, shut down in our community, it leaves a gaping hole. The business, usually because the space is a large space, it's hard to put another tenant in there. And it becomes an eyesore and a place for criminal activity to take place. And the community slowly begins to die because that particular business went bankrupt or they shut it down. In an Ujamaa economy, and this is important to see, the goal is maximum employment, not maximum profit. Okay.
Maximum employment, not maximum profit.
In other words, the workers are paid a living wage, not a minimum wage. They enjoy autonomy as they have input into how the work they do is performed. They are their own bosses through their worker committees. And when the business yields a surplus, the workers earn a portion of this as well. They work in an atmosphere of respect and dignity and democracy as they get to vote on the policies and major decisions affecting the business. So that's key. Imagine that local grocery store having that kind of organization. I don't know what happens in places outside of Atlanta, but it became even more exaggerated during the COVID pandemic. We would go in the Kroger, and some days there would only be one or two registers open, and the lines would be going all the way to the back of the store. And they would say, well, you know, we can't get enough workers in here, and this is what we're stuck with. No, that's not true. Because you're paying less than a livable wage, the job is not attractive, and therefore you can't retain the workforce. But imagine if that store that has, let's just say it's got 10 register lanes, and people are offered a living wage, $18, $19, $20 an hour. They wouldn't have any trouble filling all of those 20 register lanes. You follow what I'm saying? And but we don't keep that many lanes open because rather than pay for the labor of the workers, they put that money in the bottom line to boost up their profits. That's the difference between Ujamaa economy and the kind of capitalist economies that surround us. Many of our communities, go ahead.
I was going to say, and we're beginning to see more and more where the stores are doing away with men and women cashiers and coming with more self-checkout.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
they don't want anybody to what they need.
Right. Exactly. And so that the way, just a shift in terms of, well, what is the goal of this business?
It's all about resources, of course.
Maximum employment. Then we staff all the registers, right?
It's all about resources.
Make sure there are workers in every aisle to answer questions and direct customers to the product, to keep the store clean. You know, you go into the restroom and it hasn't had any attention since the morning shift because everybody's on the floor. All of these things can be addressed by a simple shift in the focus. Well, if we want a store to have maximum employment, then we make sure that the store is run so that the service level is excellent. The customer doesn't want for anything. It will still make money, right? It won't make much money, but it will make money.
All right, I got somebody on the joint.
And the salaries that those people walk out of there with
See, we're working with
then means that there's more money in the community.
Big homie, the RZA.
So the whole
Talk to me, King. How you doing?
Because there's more money in circulation. And that's what operating a business cooperative
Check in, you're breaking
allows
up.
you to do. On top of that, then there are these...
You got a pillow around the phone? Salute to him. He gonna get back in.
Come together.
We're working it out. Technical difficulties, y'all.
What do we need to do to make it better? What errors are you seeing that we need to correct?
Always feel free to click into the comment section. There we go. Got a better connection. Give me a second. There we go. Salute.
And so now
try to turn that down. Because it's going to double. It's going to get feedback.
Where everyone who is serviced by the business,
we're going to go in
gets to make
another 10 more minutes.
Contribution to how we can run an even better enterprise. And keep in mind that as
it's about the fight for resources.
More successful and the surplus increases, a portion of that surplus also now is available to underwrite or to fund African-centered schools or a local health facility, so that the people, have a place to go to take care of their health needs.
There you go.
But all of this enables us to organize
Economics
in a way
elephants.
that we now are in control of what is
No
happening,
doubt.
rather than sitting sidelines as spectators, grumbling about, dog, why
Can
they
hardly
have
hear
two
you.
registers open? Why there's no one in the aisle to help me when I have a question? So, in
Okay.
other words, rather than complain, we now have put ourselves in a position to actually be in charge of these vital businesses that are necessary for our well-being. So, and on that same point, let me just go ahead, sister.
All right. The mainstay of the Yulu call is about self-containment, self-reliance. Just own stores in our own neighborhoods that reflect our experience. I don't know if anybody's familiar with Dave East, but he recently bought a grocery store in his native Harlem area, and that's a tremendous value all across the board. Why just stand in front of the stores when you can invest in them and get them while they're available? We got my man RZA on the joint. How you feeling, man? Good to hear you.
Yes, sir.
There you go. Nice and clear, nice and strong, brother. All right, the topic is hidden awakening and revolution, and this is the revolutionary part of it because I did enough of the metaphysics and the esotericism and these hidden awakenings and the kundalini stuff. What does it take for us to push the envelope of and revolutionary is just a change, reality, right? What is it to push the envelope of self-reliance and start to get those building blocks of production in our community, in your respect?
Interesting question.
That's what I do.
Yeah. I guess people gotta start the nigga shit, man. Every day a shooting, every day a robbery, somebody is stabbed. You can't have nothing with niggas around, man, because they're very different than black people.
The Chris Rock conundrum, huh?
When he said it, he wasn't lying. It's a fact.
Right. And didn't it pan out and show out in that incident in the Oscars? Didn't that happen?
That was just some sucker shit, man.
Very much so. Very much. You know what? Conspiracy theories and all that stuff aside, I still think it was kind of staged in a way. These guys are friends, man. They can handle these things
No, they
differently.
was friends. There's definitely some bad blood.
Yeah, it's totally black blood now. It sucks, man. So, but we, as far as in the communities that there are not a lot of foundations, not a lot of productive groups. We're basically stuck in this rugged individualism that George Fraser talks about, and Chloe Anderson discusses sometimes, that keep us impaired from competing with other groups. What would be a small step besides just not being niggerish?
I don't know, man. It's like, the generation before us, man. At least there was a general consensus among the people. No matter what you're doing, make sure the babies are safe
Yes.
and going to school and getting their education.
Yes.
We ain't even got that no more.
Right.
Can't even agree on that.
Right, and that's like that was like not even a second thought. That was the first reality right there.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
It was a subject that was not debatable. But
Absolutely.
the kids ain't safe. Little kids sitting in a car eating, dinner getting shot and killed, man. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, it's bugged out, man. Was the 12-year-old
These wild
in the
coons got to be
car?
stopped.
Absolutely, they're out of control. Yo, but
You
you
know, listen,
real.
I
You
keep telling you all, man.
absolutely real. Because that's what the
That's
brother
why we
was.
got to call them, man. They're wild coons, and they need to be put down.
I when I go, we're not gonna go that far. Okay,
Listen,
we're gonna
the
look
rest
for
of us ain't gonna be
redemption
able
right
to
now.
live
Okay.
in a peaceful society until these wild coons are stopped, man. Because they're not gonna stop.
It's interesting because what? All right, every group has this derelict group around them, this derelict tribe that ours is the only one that we kind of give the special aura to. Like it's like we pay attention to them in a certain way, and they're like the biggest monstrosity ever. I mean, like every group has an underworld. What makes our group so, venomous in a way?
I mean, in all honesty, I don't give a fuck about nobody else's group but mine.
I
You
hate
know what I'm saying?
I hate
And at the end of the day, whether it's Irish, Italian, or white, or whatever, they gonna do what they gonna do. That's their problem. I'm just worried about my people, man.
Oh shoot! You done hit the
Don't fuck
nail.
about nobody else, nothing else.
Just hit the nail on the head because this is the revolutionary part of the conversation, right? And it's only right that I'll play something and you just hit it, boom, right there that I wanted to get to.
Oh,
It's called Revolution, Malcolm X. Nice little minute and a half joint.
Revolution going on. In my opinion, young generation of white, black, brown, whatever else there is, you're living at a time of extremism, a time of revolution. What is it revolting against? The power structure. The American power structure? No. The French power structure? No. The English power structure? No. Then what power structure? An international Western power structure. I,
International
for one,
Western.
will join in with anyone. Don't care what color you are, as long as you want to change this miserable condition that exists on this earth. There's got to be a change. People in power have misused it, and now there has to be a change, and a better world has to be built, and the only way it's going to be built is with extreme methods.
So what you and I have got to do is get involved. You and I have to be right there breathing down their throat. Every time they look over their shoulder, we want them to see us.
Once those intentions are made known, we can get to the nitty-gritty of the problem.
Couple more
We can
seconds.
get to the core of the problem. We can get to the root of the problem. And then we can correct the problem.
What's your thoughts on that, man? Talk to me.
who, me?
Yeah, you.
I mean, oh, my fault. I mean, there's two perspectives. There's a macro and a micro. Systemic problems is the macro, but the micro is we know that the young kids in the community doing this bullshit. We know they don't want to listen. We know they can't be talked to.
Yes.
So the question is, what do we do? Do we act like the problem don't exist? Or do we address it for the greater good?
Right. We can't act like the problem doesn't exist because it's actually that large an issue that it has to be addressed. And we have a current mayor in New York City that we live is Eric Adams. Do you think
That nigga's a sucker.
Okay, yo, chill.
Straight sucker.
Wait a minute. Whoa. Public. The views and opinions of those that visit this
these are my views,
Sunspot.
not the views of the
Not
host.
exactly the views and opinions of the host, okay? But yeah, what makes them that? Is it is it catering to too many at one time? Is police upbringing, or you think he's clueless where he doesn't really know how?
He's not clueless. He knows exactly what he's doing. All he's about is the economy and business. And he made a statement a few weeks ago that really just pissed me off when he said he doesn't want the public filming his police.
Right. Yeah,
that's a violation of people's constitutional rights.
Yeah, but that's some police that police DNA coming out of him.
Yeah, so is he black or is he blue?
Blue. That's automatic. That's automatic.
Fuck that nigga.
Again, the views and opinions of our guests is not actually the views and opinions of the people on the Sunspot.
My fault.
Collectively. All right, but now, okay.
We're gonna get the ratings up on this motherfucker.
Yeah, we get the ratings all the way up. The issue of drill music, and its relation to gang culture and what's going on in that world, which is actually spilling out on the civilian world, because obviously, as you said before, people are not knowing how to act, and like all the rules are splintered. Do you see like a necessary crackdown? It's actually going down now. It's that almost that zero tolerance policy that Giuliani put into effect in the mid '90s.
But you can't police music, so I mean.
Oh, can you?
You know, they say stuff just for sound bites or whatever to make it look like they're doing something that they really have no control over.
It's kind of edgy right there, because they got a couple of people locked up.
How do you know who listens to drill, and how you gonna stop them from listening to it?
That's true. They actually was playing drill music in Ukraine as they were going out, to battle some of their Russian adversaries. Oh my God, I can't even do my sound effects.
Get a sensor button.
Getting gully right now.
I need a delay button.
I don't got no delay.
Oh shit.
Full speed ahead, brother.
God. You will never send me the link again.
I'm contemplating that. Anyway, I mean, I have to big up the groups that's out there doing it right now. Salute to Man Up Inc. Out there in East New York. Salute to GMAC, Shanduke McFadder and his organization.
Life Camp out in Queens.
Life Camp. Oh, wow. Yeah, now talk about it. CGE.
Core group. My man Larry Cave and I'm out there in Queens.
These are the people that need to get this promotion out there. And if I would say any artist want to be an artist, they would, get with these groups and, it maybe like spark some interest and spark some promotion to them. Do you think their promotional interests are effective?
They can only be effective as the people who support them, and like they always say, it don't take nothing to share, a post or pick up somebody on social media and have it spread that way. But there ain't nobody trying to promote positivity like that, and that's really sad, because there should be more of a push for that, because these people out there doing the Lord's work in the community.
Absolutely. I don't know if it's the Lord's work. Oh, those people are doing the Lord's work. Yeah,
those people, not me and you.
Yeah. We on that with shenaniganisms.
All we want to do is black out on these wild coons. That's all we do.
This is why I put the pressure on like these YouTube characters with over 5,000, 10,000, actually produce something that can be effective. Not even a damn book bag drive or scholarship program, something like that. You just got 100,000 people on your joint for nothing.
That's true.
And the reality, that's what's hindering a lot of things, because people see a success model in it and they follow through with it. How do you think that the Tekashi kid, he may be talented or whatever like that, but how you think he has a second camp? I mean, some people think he's talented. I'm not,
they're goofy.
I'm not hitting it. But he has a goofy following, and they're going to fail.
Well, true.
So it's a success model.
True. I'll tell you something that, that's not talked about a lot.
What's that?
In our community with these kids, man, that it's a lot of self-medication going on. And I don't know where the hurt comes from. Because anytime you want to wake up high and drunk, go through your day high and drunk, and go to sleep high and drunk, there's something there.
That strong Zaza.
You know, you can't live your life in a fog of being high all the time.
That's true. It's absolutely true. This is, it's a dangerous truth at that.
Yeah.
You know, is it a process of? Well, I've understood from the youth that I have talked to that are considered at risk. But you know, first of all, it's like YOLO. That YOLO thing is still in effect. You know, you only live once. But on top of that is the fear of setting up expectations that they feel they can't commit to.
I'm not even going to go that deep with it, man. They just want to cut the fool, and it's groupthink.
It's a lot of following. Definitely a lot of following. Yeah.
And it's not nothing serious and analytical about it, man. It's groupthink and the easy way. Everybody wants things right now, microwavable, easy, fast way. And life ain't like that in the long run.
Never like that, you know. It's never like that. The fear to grow old is never a thing you should put on the back.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Here go another ode to the revolutionary status, and then we're going to go into the metaphysics and the color principle, the manifestation world that everybody likes to live in right now. You know, if you're speaking into existence, and the next thing you know, they're cursing you out. It's funny. It's just real funny to me. So we're going to hear this thing, of course, from Gil Scott Heron. I'm sure you're familiar with Gil Scott, right?